Hey guys, Lodicus here with a full completion walkthrough for Under the Warehouse. This released on the 17th of May 2023. It was developed by Goolworks and published by Eastasiasoft Limited. It can be found in both the Xbox and PlayStation stores for $5.99. It's a first-person point-and-click adventure game in which you need to solve various puzzles to progress through the game, with the end goal to retrieve a very mysterious coloured egg for our unknown client. The full completion should take you around 20 minutes following along with my guide side by side. In this guide I'll be going through the fastest route possible, giving you the most efficient completion. Without this guide, Under the Warehouse should take you roughly an hour to complete. There's a total of 12 achievements or trophies to get. The first one of course is for doing the tutorial, which is missable if you skip it. The remaining 11 should pop naturally while solving puzzles and progressing through the game, and the last achievement to pop should be called the colourful egg. Jump into new game and make sure that you do select new game. If you do skip the intro, you will miss the telephone achievement. So walk up to the phone and just press A. You can then tap A to skip through the dialogue. The controls are relatively straightforward, just move around with both analog sticks and press A to interact with things. You then can use RB and LB to open your inventory. Once you reach the bar area, just pick up the gold stein by pressing A on it, head over to this tap on the keg, press A, and then A on the stein to fill it with a purple liquid. Once that's filled, just press A on the door to check that it's locked. This guy behind us will then appear. Just exhaust all dialogue with him and then talk to him for a second time, where we'll give him a mug of that purple juice. The green door should now be open. Just head through that and then take your first left. You'll eventually come out to this long corridor or alleyway. At the very end there's a very suspicious looking man with a mask on. Exhaust all dialogue with him and we'll eventually go into the warehouse. At the entrance here, we'll need some ID to get into the warehouse itself. So if you go over to these filing cabinets, you will find a bloody ID on the floor. Before we can use the ID, we're going to need to clean it off. So if we go through the classroom here, interact with this water bucket, we can then clean the blood off the ID. And then we can use that to get into the warehouse. We'll also pop another achievement there as well. So go back to where you found the ID and interact with this double door here. And this will take us into the main warehouse area. Once inside, we're looking for a person stood next to a pile of boxes in the very middle of the room just down here. Next to him is a folder which says feed on it. Just make sure you pick that up. We're then going to do a 180 and head back towards the entrance that we came in. However, we're going to go into the very corner of the room here, which we'll find a weird machine. Looks a little bit like Pac-Man. All you're going to do is feed him that feed document and it's going to spit out a load of receipts. Spin around and then head straight ahead. We'll go past a ladder on our left hand side, and then shortly after the ladder you should find a green recycling machine. All you need to do is put the receipt in there and we'll receive a food token. From the recycling machine we want to go to the opposite side of the room, where we'll find a food vendor that's selling some sort of fish hot dog type thing. So head over to him, press A on him and use the food voucher and we will get a fish dog. Turn around from the vendor and then we want to head left, hugging this left hand side wall. We're now looking for a double door here which doesn't have any guards on it. This is going to then transition us through to the other half of the warehouse. Once inside we're going to bear right. We want to go to the right hand side here and we should find a little hole in the wall. Just past this giant guy, just mind his feet. Go down this little corridor. At the end you should see a pile of fish. Beside the fish should be a mustard dispenser. Just press A on that and then press on your Fishdog to put some mustard on the top. We now have the item that was required to unlock the helmet. So we're going to go back down this corridor and then amongst these boxes here where this light is switched on, you should see a guy slumped on the floor. Give him the Fishdog with mustard and he will give you a hard hat. We can now use this hard hat to get into this construction area in the corner. So in the very corner of this room, this would generally be closed off and you needed a hard hat to get through. So we can now wander through here at our leisure. Get to the very top, we're going to take a left and go through this single door here. This is then going to take us into a lab. Once you've loaded in, head right and make sure that you pick up this battery from the table. Now that we've got the battery, we can move into the next door room at the back here. There should be a claw on this table to collect, and then if we speak to this professor here, he's going to give us a level 3 clearance card. Now that we've got the battery, the claw and the clearance card, we can then use this teleporter to get back to the main warehouse. This is going to spawn us right next to the Fishdog vendor, and we're going to use this side door here, which we can now get through with the clearance card. As we get in, we're going to take a right, and in this gardening area here, you'll find a bag of seed. Just pick that up, and then we're going to do a 180 and just backtrack back out of this gardening section, back into the main warehouse by going through the door that we came through. Now that we're back in here, we're going to go into that other half of the warehouse again. So from the fish vendor, head towards the double door that we went through earlier. Head into the other side of the warehouse, and then we're going to take an immediate left. Follow this little corridor to the very end where we'll find a hen, which is laying some eggs. Just ensure that you give it the seed and you will be given a chicken egg. We're then going to backtrack back to the gardening section again that we just came from. So back through the double door and then back towards the fish vendor on this right hand side. Then we're going to go through the single door beside him, which is where we just collected the seed. Go back into there, and then directly ahead of you as you come through the door, you should see a press machine. It's without power, so we have to put the battery in this section here. Once the battery is placed, the machine will start working, and then we're going to place an egg under the press, and that's going to give us a key, which was inside the egg. We're now going to turn around and head out of this room, back into the main warehouse area, and then we're going to hug the right hand side wall. In the very opposite corner here on the right hand side, there is another single door with a bodyguard in front of it. Just go through that door. Once inside, we're going to head straight ahead. Not the first left, but the second left, you should find a washing machine or a laundry room. Interact with this washing machine at the back to retrieve a bone. Then we're going to take a left and then our next right and head into this room at the very end. And we'll be able to pick up a piece of cake from this lovely lady. Do a 180 and we're going to backtrack. Take a left. And then before going out the exit door, we're going to take a right. There's a room here full of filing cabinets. The filing cabinet at the very end is on fire. Interact with the fire and then we can light the birthday cake. Now that we have the dog bone and the lit cake from this area, we can now leave and proceed to the next little puzzle area, which we're going to do. So just backtrack to the main door that you came through. Interact with that, which of course is going to take us back into the main warehouse. Head straight on past the recycling machine, and then on the right hand side here is a ladder. Interact with the ladder, which is going to take us up to a floor with a very vicious dog in front of us. Press A on the dog, give him the bone to settle him down, and then we can proceed through the door. This will then take us into a large open room. There's not much to do in this room other than place the cake or the candle on this plinth on the right hand side, so the one that's missing a skull. Just interact with that and then place the lit candle or the cake down. That's then going to open the secret door, and then we can then retrieve the bell. Now that we have the golden bell, we can do a 180 and leave this area. So back through the door, past the dog, and then down the ladder into the main warehouse section again. And then we can use this golden bell to get into a little secret area and solve another puzzle. So we're going to climb down this ladder, take your left and head into that singular door in the corner which we just previously left. Head inside. Once through, we're going to then take our first right. This is going to take us into a large open room or office space. In the left hand side corner in the very back, you'll find a trapdoor on the floor. Just press A to interact with that and go down the trapdoor. There'll be a large body of water which we can't cross unless we open our inventory and use the golden bell. Just ring that, and then that should lift up some tiles that we can then walk across and interact with the stone door at the very end. Here we'll have a number of colour puzzles that we need to solve. So the eyes on the door are yellow, so we're going to have to spin these frogs round until the ones with the yellow eyes are facing the door. That'll open, go through to the next one, and here we need red eyes. So there was no red on those statues, so we set it to blank. And then we're going to spin this red one round until it's facing the door. In the third room, we have to make orange by mixing two of the colours. So set this first column to blank. And then this one we need to set to yellow. And the one at the very front is red. So mixing the yellow and the red eyes together obviously makes orange, and the door opens. Moving into the fourth room now, there is an additional door to our right hand side, which has got yellow eyes. So first of all, we're going to go and do that one first. So spin this first column of frogs round so it's yellow. and then we're going to have to spin this round all the way around so the blank one is facing the yellow door, like so. That'll open the door, we'll head on through, and we're looking for the colour blue in here, which just requires one turn, and that blue frog is now looking at where the door should be. Back into this main room, we're going to spin this round so the blank one is facing the green eyes. We don't need this one anymore. And then we're going to need yellow on this one, so mixing yellow and blue makes green. Once the yellow one's facing the door, that should open the final door. In here we should see a massive frog. Not interested in him, we're going to take a left and use this pool in the corner. Once your inventory opens, just click on the hard hat. That's going to fill it with some water. We're going to then use this hat to water a plant shortly. So in the corner of the room next to the frog is a ladder. This will take us back up into one of the warehouse areas. Before heading forward, just make sure you pull the lever to open the door. Head outside, and then we're going to take a left here. And then a right, and this should take us back outside into the main warehouse. We're now looking for the basement or the basement door, so take a left when you come out. Head all the way up to where the teleporter is, and then we're going to take a left. This is a door we haven't yet been in, but beside this guy sat down is the basement. Use the old key to head on inside, and then in here we're going to find two objects, so go down the stairs initially. In the middle of this room here you'll find a fishing rod. Just press A on that to pick it up, and then we're going to do a 180, head back up the same staircase that we came down, turn around, and then this room on the left hand side on the upper level has a trowel on this table. Make sure you pick that up, and then we're going to safely leave this room and head back into the gardening section. So into the main warehouse, past the teleporter on our left, and then through this door here. This is of course where we pressed the egg and picked up the seed. So take our first right once inside. In this large gardening room here, we want to go to the plant pot in the corner. Press A on that, water the plant or the flower with the hat. Now that the flower is fully grown, we're going to press A on it again and then use the trowel to dig the flower out. We're now done in this section. We're going to backtrack back to the door and head out into the warehouse area again. We're going to take our first right and go back into the basement. Through the basement door. And then we're going to go down a level. So down this left hand side staircase. When you get into the large room with the hand, take a left. And there'll be two statues here. We want to interact with the one on the right hand side, which got empty hands. And we're going to place the flower in it. This is then going to open the coffin beside us, interact with the skull, and place the key into the flaming skull, which sets the key on fire. This will now allow us to open two frozen doors, the one of which is in this same room. So backtrack into the middle of the room, and then interact with this large double door. As we come through, take a right, and on the table you will find some green worms. Pick those up, and then we're done here. We can then go back through this singular frozen door to head back into the basement room. Once in the basement area, take your first left and then up that staircase that we previously came down. Use the red door to head back out into the warehouse area, and then we're going to take our first left to go back through that blue single door into the gardening area again. Take a left, and then dead ahead you should see another frozen door. Use the key on that to get through. You'll then see a slope that goes down to a pool of water. We're going to interact with this pool of water here to catch a fish. Click on the fishing rod, and that's going to combine both the worms and the rod to give you a purple fish. Before leaving this area, we will need a glass, so look for a glass on this table here, a glass stein. Head back up the stairs, and we're done in this section, so we can backtrack out of the frozen door into the little gardening section, and then we're going to take our right to go back into the main warehouse. Once out into the main warehouse, take your first right, and we're going to go back into the basement door again. Once in the basement section, we're going to take our right and go down this right hand side staircase, and then we're going to take our first door on the right where this large hand is. Here we'll find a room full of barrels. There is a machine at the very end here. What we want to do is place the purple fish within that. That's then going to produce a purple fish pulp, which you're going to use the glass stein on to fill it with fish paste. Now that we've got a glass full of paste, we can head back out of this little section, head to this frozen double door in the basement area, open that up, head on through. We're going to take our first left this time. At the very end of this corridor is another machine, which is requiring some power or fuel. We're going to use the purple pulp to power up the machine. This in turn has activated the elevator, so backtrack. Once you get to the cross junction here, take a left and we're going to interact with this elevator. This is going to take us down into the underground area. Head straight ahead, and what we're going to do is hug this pond or pool on the left hand side. At the very back of this room we should find the coloured egg and get our very final achievement. So continue hugging this pool until you see a statue ahead of you. Walk towards the statue. As you reach the statue, take a right, and then behind these rocks you should see a little light and a basket with the large colourful egg in it. Once you pick that up, that should give you your very final achievement for the game. If you found this guide useful, drop it a like. If you want to see more content from myself, please do subscribe.